I'm Kimberly Lavelle at yourparenthelp.com, and this week I want to do something a little different. I really want to talk to you about a common problem that I'm seeing parents have, and it's their expectations of what things should be, how things should be, and how they're feeling about it. So I'm offering a mindset shift this week, and I hope it speaks to you, and I hope it helps give you some relief and some inspiration and some ideas. I'm excited, and I'm hoping it's helpful to you. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you trying to educate your child, but you can't do that at the same time that you keep the house neat and orderly, and therefore nothing is getting done all the way, your child isn't doing everything that you thought they would be able to do, and the house isn't getting all of the attention that it needs, and things are just chaos? Yes? If that's you, I have good news. This week, I want you to go from this being your image of a good education at home, whether you're homeschooling or just providing extra support to your child at home, giving them extra help, maybe you're distance learning, or maybe you're just providing extra help on things after school hours. Whatever your reality, that's fine. I want you to go from this to this as being a good education. And I don't mean that, unfortunately, the image does appear to be a little girl. And I did not mean it to be like little girls need to learn how to do laundry. No. They need a good, solid education, just like little boys. Everybody needs a good, solid education, but it doesn't need to be worksheets. We actually can use chores to teach so much more than chores. When you're doing laundry, your child can do laundry, but they don't just learn about laundry. They can learn all sorts of things in whatever task you're doing. And it doesn't just have to be chores. I'm singling chores out this week. But any task that you are doing, any walk that you're going on, any activity you're going on, whatever you are doing, I challenge you this week to look for at least one activity. On this activity, I'm going to make sure that we do one of the grade level standards that my child is working on, or the skill that I want them to learn. You know, if you aren't following a set of standards, that's fine. But you might have like a set of skills that you know you want your child to be learning. I'm going to make sure that my child learns one of those skills while we're doing this thing that we have to do anyway. So, as an example, sorting socks. Sorting socks teaches math. You can be teaching counting, right? How many socks are there? How many socks are in this pile? Comparing, gotta compare those socks. Gotta compare, maybe compare how many socks Daddy has in the laundry compared to how many socks Timmy has in the laundry. And who has more socks in the laundry? Oh, Daddy only has one pair of socks in the laundry? That's because he wears a lot of flip-flops. Timmy has 7 pairs of socks in the laundry? I guess he wore socks every day. Right? So not only getting a little off, but that also goes into all sorts of reasoning and logic and thinking and really critical thinking outside of just who has laundry when, who is more, why is it more, right? Now we're getting really into deep critical thinking. Matching, got to match those socks. Identifying attributes, which is part of matching the socks, but you can be talking about them. What color are these socks? What size are these socks? Which sock is bigger? Which sock is smaller? Which sock is longer? Which sock is shorter? Which sock is thicker? Which sock is thinner? Which sock is darker and brighter? And which one is plain? Which one has polka dots? Which one has stripes? So all sorts of things. Addition. How many socks did you just sort? How many socks did Susie just sort? How many is that all together? Great. Jump over to subtraction. We had 40 socks in the pile, but you've already sorted 20 of them. How many do we have left to sort? And if your child is younger, start with a smaller amount, right? I gave you 8 socks to sort, and you already sorted 4 of them, or folded 4 of them, or bundled up 4 of them, or however you guys do socks in your house. That there's already, so how many are left, right? You had 8, you've sorted 4, how many are left? Repeated addition, we've got 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. How many is that? Which is multiplication. 2 in each set times 5 sets is how many individual socks? 5 pairs of socks is 10 socks. Division, you have 10 socks and 2 go into each pile. How many sets is that going to be? How many pairs of socks is that? Fraction, identification. What fraction of the socks are daddy's socks? 2 of the socks out of 20 socks are daddy's socks. 2 out of 10. Oh, if we think about that in pairs, what's an equivalent fraction? 2 out of 20 is the same as 1 out of 10. There's 10 pairs of socks. 1 of those pairs is daddy's. So 2/10 and 1/10 are the same. Addition, daddy's 1/10 plus mommy's 2/10 is 3/10, which means that the other 7/10 are Timmy's. Subtraction, right? Now we did that. I said 10/10, right? 1 whole is 10/10 minus 3/10 is the 7/10 that's Timmy's. Fraction multiplication. If this one I might think about in terms of everybody has 1 pair of black socks in the pile. So we have 1/10 times 3 people or times 4 people or whatever. How many tenths is that? And obviously it doesn't have to be tenths. I'm using that as an example. Which also reminds me, if it is tenths, now we're talking about decimals. And we can go into decimals with all of this. And place value, which similar to what I was just saying with decimals, could be part of place value. You can have groups of 10, especially if you have a lot of socks. Here's 10 socks. Here's 10 more socks. Here's 10 more socks. We went from 1, and then we got to 10, so now it's a group of 10. Measurement, talking about how long it is. Go get a ruler. How long is daddy's sock? Or tape measure. That's what my son was using, a tape measure. And there's more. There's what, I don't want to say whatever, but many math skills that you need to learn, you could learn while sorting socks. Or washing dishes, or going to the grocery store, or going on a walk, whatever skill you want to learn, if you get creative, you can do that while doing whatever else you were planning on doing in your day anyway. So if you stop focusing on getting work, trying to do the school work so that we can do everything else, there can definitely be some of that, but you could also focus a lot on what can I learn, what can I teach my child while we're doing all these other things that I'd really like to get done today. All right, and another example of what sorting socks can teach is language. We actually have, for those who are using Common Core standards, I'm in California, so those are the standards I'm most familiar with, is California's version of the Common Core standards. They've added some in. So we have language standards. We have speaking and listening standards. And sorting socks can teach these things. These are part of the speaking and listening skills. Participate effectively in conversations. We're all sorting socks. Maybe we're having a conversation about socks. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're having a conversation about something else, but we're having a conversation. Every time your child has a conversation, and they are participating effectively, they are working on a state standard. Integrate and evaluate information. If they're learning something new, you've taught them something new, they read something new, and then they're evaluating it. So it could be you're having a conversation, you teach them something, you tell them something they've never heard before, like, oh, do you know what it means to darn a sock? And then they could evaluate, would we ever want to darn our socks? Would that be a good use of our time and energy? Are our socks made in a way that would make sense? Right? They can integrate it, they can evaluate it, evaluate another person's point of view. If I say, it's sock sorting time, and they're like, you seem like you're happy. What makes you happy? Why would you be happy? And they're trying to understand. They're evaluating. I don't know that you should be happy about sorting socks, Mom. Present information, finding, supporting evidence. Well, now I get to practice presenting why I think sorting socks is so amazing. And then they might evaluate a little more. Maybe they're going to present their counter argument. I think sorting socks is tedious and boring. Because, and now they've presented their reasons. Adapt speech to a variety of contexts and communicative tasks. That one's a little fun to say fast. So right now, we're adapting our speech, talking about socks, sorting socks. Our speech is all about, communicating, collaborative. Does anybody have this sock? The match for this sock, I can't find this black sock with polka dots. Does anyone else have a black sock with polka dots? Where did it go? You're asking, you're requesting, that's your conversation. Then another time, maybe even in that same conversation, you're having a dialogue about rules because somebody started throwing socks at someone else and that's against your school. I'm a school teacher still. Against your house rules. We don't throw socks, whatever it is. So the speech is changing, right? Went from asking for some collaborative help to giving an instruction. And that's your speech, but you're modeling that speech and you're engaging them in the same thing. They're participating in those same roles and those same models. So much of this we do all the time. It's these particular standards most teachers don't spend a lot of time worrying about because in a strong classroom, you're going to be having all of this dialogue all the time anyway. And at home, you're going to be having all this dialogue all the time anyway. If you are speaking to your child about a variety of topics in a variety of ways, in a variety of places, you are going to definitely be working on all of these skills. My point is just, look at all you're doing already without even trying. And that's how much you would be missing out if you were sorting the socks and they were doing a math worksheet. By having them help you do the sock sorting, they're doing math, they are doing language skills, they are participating with you, they are connecting with you, they are learning a life skill about sorting socks, and they are not suffering academically because you're making sure that while doing sock sorting, they are doing the same skill that they would have been doing on that math worksheet. Or then maybe later you go over and do the math worksheet together to make sure that they know what it looks like when they see it on paper. And maybe you just do a couple problems, 2 or 3 problems, they seem to know them all really well, no problem, let's move on. Or they just tell you some verbal answers, we don't really have to write it down or work it out, because they clearly know how to do it. It's not a big deal. So, what I want for you this week, pick at least one chore. Think right now, what chores need to be done around the house? What chores do I do every day? What needs to happen? Move me. What needs to happen for a house to be nice, tidy, orderly? What can my child learn while I'm doing it? While they are doing it? While we are doing it? That connection that gets built when people are working together, kids are much more likely to do chores if the adult or other people are doing it with them. Most people don't like to do chores all by themselves, except maybe when you're listening to a good podcast or music and dancing, and sometimes you can get into a group that way. But if you put on music and everyone's doing it together, it could be very great. It could be really great. So think about what can your child learn while doing that chore, and you might really be surprised what you can come up with. And I'm working on a special gift for you guys that will help you with this. So be watching for that. I will see you next time.